Would have never told on me when I was hustling on this motherfucking shit. Nigga, I appreciate that jealousy and envy, you know what I'm saying? You know, stop me getting paid, you know, drug rage, you know, niggas want to see me get money. That's why I was death on my motherfucking enemies. You feel real, man? Was death on my motherfucking enemies. I'm a big ass motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I was death on all my enemies. It's a nigga hard to kill, hard to die. Motherfucker, I still ride. Ain't no bitch in me. OG nigga. I can't quit, I can't stop. I've been soldier till my fucking gas drop. It's that spiritual infusion inside my soul that won't let this hell on earth go. Until the prophecy is revealed. My enemies being killed. It's a fucking raw deal. But God chose me to deal with all this hate. And this punk ass world got for a nigga like me. I can't turn the other cheek. I can't be weak and humble. Pray for my enemies. When that motherfucker would kill me blind at the sign of time, I'ma protect me and mine with some of that same old evil energy that the world displayed to me. That's why I wish death for my fucking enemies. Don't wanna see a nigga free. I wish death for my enemies. They don't wanna see a nigga free. They don't wanna see a nigga like me fly. They want me to die. So I wish death for my motherfucking enemies. I wish death for my motherfucking enemies.
Cal made me do it.
Yes, I'm forever wishing death for my enemies. And I will never know when the fucking seas avatar. We invaded spiritually by the angel of death. So I suggest a motherfucker not to go to war against this death. Yeah, my fucking way. Let an OG nigga know all me great. Cause I won't hesitate to this fucking AK. Fucking judgment day. Motherfuckers gotta pay. Hey, peace and black power, peace and black power. I'm back, y'all, with another video. Y'all make sure when y'all come into my channel, go ahead and mash up those likes. That makes a lot of difference with that algorithm. Can I get the algorithm treatment like some of these other people get that type of treatment? You know, they make stupid videos, and most videos are geared against black people. Nobody really wants to speak the truth about us. You know, I see conservative blacks who are out to diminish our rise. Conservative blacks channels like a Jesse Lee Peters and some conservative twins. Black people are really ignorant, but their videos get more views. I think that someone that speaks in the behalf of our people should get the more views, the more likes, the more shares. But all you gotta do is be ignorant. I could be Charleston White. If I was a Charleston White Negro, I would blow up overnight. You feel what I'm saying? You gotta be not right with black people to survive and make it in this world. You gotta cut you out of a niche, out of white supremacy, cut you out of a piece of the puzzle or a piece of the pie, a piece of the rock. You see what I'm saying? Prudential. You got to get you a little piece. So if you could grab your little piece of white supremacist money, you would be disloyal to our people. You could get a lot of likes and a lot of shares, but I can't get the algorithm treatment because I'm underground for real. But we back with a video, and I already know that black people don't care about our people. And I'm back with a video to show spotlight on the fact how mainstream media, how police departments and people in hierarchy positions can dismantle black people by any means on all levels of the game, and nobody cares. Just like the mainstream media that I hear a lot of people say, you always banging on old media. You know why I bang on old media? Because old media help cover up the truth and propagate lies to the masses. And that's what they do. They always cover up the truth. You feel what I'm saying? And then you call me conspiracy theorists for revealing what they don't reveal. just because the mainstream media won't reveal what I reveal, then what I'm talking about is false. Listen, y'all, out of Jackson, Mississippi, more than 8 months after a 37-year-old black man named Dexter Wade was killed and later buried in a pauperous field. In pauperous field, his mother gave her only son the formal funeral that he had been denied. What am I talking about? I'm talking about a black man, a 37-year-old black man named Dexter Wade, who was supposedly hit. This is what they're telling us, that this black man was hit by off-duty police running across a busy highway. He could not be identified who he was in March. He went missing in March of this year. Dexter Wade went missing in March of this year. But subsequently, they say he was hit by the police in March. And the police had him buried because they said they couldn't identify who he was. So let me get this straight before I go into the story. This black woman, which is this brother's mother, puts out a missing person report in March. The police hits the black man by accident, and they bury him because they could not find out who he was. This is suspicious. This is very suspicious to me. His family was not notified, unaware of this horrific tragedy. Jackson, Mississippi, you're really racist. You're really racist. This is murder, lynching, covered up. You mean to tell me an unidentified black man runs across a busy highway, the cop hits him, off-duty cop hits him. Do this make the news? This mystery of a missing black man could be solved like that. Did this incident make the news? There should be a thorough investigation on this situation. It gets deep. Wade, Mr. Wade, Dexter Wade, mother puts out a missing report out on her son. The police didn't know who he was. And you know that when law enforcement trying to identify a particular person that may be found deceased, there may be a tattoo, a photo, something that that individual had as property, such as a chain or wallet, will be presented on the news broadcast. If you know who this woman or this man or who this child was, this is the particular clue. Can y'all get in touch with us so this person can be identified? So you telling me that the Mississippi Police Department didn't take that kind of measure to really find out who this brother was that they accidentally killed? This is a cover-up. Late August of this year, the woman was notified Dexter Wade's mother was notified that her son has been found, but he was deceased. And they ran the story down to her as if she is supposed to believe that her son got hit and they didn't know who he was, so they buried him in a grave site. This is deep. No leads. After you put in your missing person investigation report, this should have tipped law enforcement right off on who this brother was. You knew who Dexter Wade was because it's been reported that this may be in retaliation because Dexter Wade's mother had a lawsuit against the police department where one of the police employees or police was subsequently convicted in the crime of killing her brother. Yes. Hey, I want y'all to check this video out.
On Monday, Dexter Wade will be laid to rest in Mississippi. And that will be his second burial. The first time, his family didn't even know he died. Dexter's mother had not seen or heard from her son for a few days. This was on March 14th, so she called police in Jackson, Mississippi to report him missing. But police did not tell her that 9 days earlier, on the 5th, that her son had been hit and killed by an off-duty police officer in Jackson. They say it was an accident and that they were not able to identify him until days after the crash. They also say that they were not able to get in touch with his family because Dexter's contact information was, quote, outdated. Dexter's mother says she was finally notified on August 24th, nearly 6 months later. By then, the family's attorney says Dexter had been buried in a pauper's field, his grave marked by a pole and a number. Well, now this past Monday, a new alleged miscommunication and new trauma. The family wanted to witness his body being exhumed so they could have an rather independent, I should say, autopsy and bury him properly. But when the family arrived at the agreed upon time, Dexter had already been exhumed.
This how the system works? Is this what I'm living in? And I'm living in Mississippi. And this is what I got to deal with? That I don't even matter.
Joining us now is Dexter's mother, Betterston Wade, and the family's attorney, Ben Crump. Welcome to you both. And Miss Wade, let me start just with what you know about the circumstances surrounding your son's death. What have you been told that happened that night back in March?
Yes, back in March, they told me, well, back in March 5th, they said my son died. March 14th, I filed a missing report. And then August the 24th, they came tell me that my son, had deceased. So after then, I just started looking, where he at, trying to find out, what was going on with him and everything. So after I bought the body back and got his, death certificate and all that, then I started trying to find out what grave site or where he was located at. And so finally, someone came through to let me know, what grave site is and everything.
Jackson police, I apologize for interrupting, but Jackson police say that they tried to contact you. Do you have any record of a call from authorities during that period to tell you about your son?
No.
No record at all.
No, I don't.
Attorney Crump, did police know when Ms. Wade called on the 14th, did they have or have access to his name, his contact information, his address?
Victor, certainly they did. They found medication on him that had his doctor's office, and the doctor's office notified them that Miss Bettison Wade, his mother, was his next of kin. But after we exhumed him, Victor, we found out that he had his wallet in his front pocket that had his state-issued driver's permit with his address where he lived with his mother. If they wanted to contact his next of kin, it would have been easy for them to do so, especially since his mother was suing the Jackson Police Department for killing her brother a couple of years earlier, where the police officer was convicted. So they knew exactly who Bettison Wade was. And Miss Wade and her family believes that it was a cover-up and it was intentional that they did not contact her.
What do you know about what happened that night, March 5th, the night that Dexter Wade was hit and killed?
Independent autopsy preliminary reports say that he was hit, his body was completely ran over, his leg was amputated. And so this was just a tragic Mississippi manslaughter, but it seems that the aftermath, the cover-up is worse. That's what Ms. Bettison had told me from day one.
Ms. Wade, tell me about those months from March 14th, where you first submitted that missing persons report, to late August, where you found out where your son was. What were you feeling? What was happening during that time?
Well, during that time, I was so angry that I couldn't find him. I was upset. I didn't know whether somebody had kidnapped him, where somebody was trying to torture him, or whether he had got trafficking, caught up in trafficking, or maybe somebody went with somebody and they did something to him. I just, on my knees, just praying, Lord, please, please, please let Dexter come home. Then I was all on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Please, if anybody saw Dexter, please, Dexter, if you're out there, you just don't want me to know where you are, just call and say, hey, Mom, I'm okay. I said, you don't have to come home. Just let me know you're okay. I was doing everything I could. Then I thought Jackson Police was working with me, and then I didn't want to go out there and do something to put him in harm. So I thought Jackson JPD would have blessed, somebody for me to contact to try to help me find my son. Tried to get him to put him on civil alert, everything. It just hurted me to my heart. I cried. I got up every morning searching. I get up early, trying to see, do I see anybody that knowed him? All his friends, nobody. I was just so hurt. I didn't know what to do, and I just cried. I just cried.
And when you got that information, you were called on August 24th, and they said that your son had already been buried. What did you feel? What went through your mind then?
Well, when they first called me and said, we found Dexter, I said, oh, Lord, let him be okay. So I said, where he at, or what's going on with him? She said, well, I'll let Officer Gerard come out there and talk to you. And right then, when she said that, it's just, my heart dropped, because I knew, I just knew that he was deceased. And I felt so bad that I could not find him. It just made me feel bad. And when they came and told me, it just hurted so bad. But then what really spiked everything, when they said a JPD cruiser ran over him. And the first thing I said, you mean to tell me y'all couldn't take his handprint to know who he belonged to? Yeah.
Ben, let me play for you the county administrator and the Jackson police chief here, what they say happened, did not happen, and changes that are going to be made.
Very unfortunate. No cover up or anything like that, just miscommunication.
You would think that we will have a death notification policy, but we do not. We do not, but we will as of today. We understand what the state statute says about the coroner and notifications. but we want to make sure that we are giving the best police service to our citizens. So we have a death notification policy that is signed as of today and will roll out today.
Your reaction to what you heard there, Ben?
Victor, it's hard to take anything they say with a leap of faith, considering that they knew who Miss Bettison was, and they certainly knew from day one. On day one, they knew who Dexter Wade was. All they had to do was come knock on her door and say, we regret to tell you your son was killed in an accident with one of our police cruisers. But they did not. And so we had to exhume his body, just like in Mississippi, they had to exhume Emmett Till to get some justice. And then they had to exhume Medgar Evers in Mississippi to get some justice. Now in 2023, we had to exhume Dexter Wade to get some justice, and we need the Department of Justice to investigate, because they killed her brother, they killed her son, and Miss Wade and her family believes in both situations. They are trying to cover them up. The officer was convicted for killing her brother, a Jackson police officer, and they have been fighting her ever since. She doesn't trust any of the Mississippi local officials.
Ms. Wade, we are so sorry that you have lost your son, especially to have lost him in this way. I'll be thinking of you. Thank you so much for your time. And Ben Crump, thank you as well.
Did you hear Benjamin Crump? Did you hear the evidence of the brother state ID in his front pocket, but they said they couldn't identify who he was? This is very suspicious to me. Off-duty cop. Name has not been mentioned, has not been disclosed. They tell us that he got hit, struck by a vehicle. The coroner's office say he was struck by a blunt trauma force, such as something heavy as a vehicle to kill him. But what I am saying was he purposely hit. You knew who he was. The identification of that man, who he was in his front pocket. And you know what kills me? They just buried this brother this past October, a few days ago. I'm trying to figure out, why do the Congress, delegations from the White House, Reverend Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump, y'all are the same cronies, are together at one of these high-profile cases all the time. If the Congress, political figures, Al Sharpton, how come no one is pushing for a policy? Change the law. Stop the police for having leeway to lynch black people. Change the law if you really want to do something. Because your little Christian core, or whatever they call those people to come sing, and all your little hymns that you sing, and Al Sharpton talking about he's outraged about this situation. You rub shoulders with them white folks up in Capitol Hill, Mr. Al Sharpton. We know you wore a wire. Why is these Congress delegations, motherfuckers, is showing up at a funeral when they're not going to change the law to protect black people? We don't even have an hate crime bill to protect black people. Kamala Harris always show her ass up at some of these high-profile police murder, lynchings, white supremacists killing black people's funerals, and nothing's changed. Why is Benjamin Crump always getting money, but he never put pressure on the government to change policy? Benjamin Crump, you a lawyer, be a mouthpiece. Take a delegation off into the White House and tell Biden we want rules to be changed in this country. Nobody steps to the government in that manner, but we want to sue people and get money. Benjamin Crump, I respect you, Benjamin Crump, for speaking out for our people, but you got to do a little bit more than that. You got to push policy. No one is pushing policy to change the condition of black people in this country. That's why I'd say we got to disconnect from these people. So you mean to tell me a 37-year-old black man was killed in the month of March and no one found out what really happened 8 months later, supposedly what happened? We don't know why it happened. I pretty much got a good hunch why this happened. And I think the law enforcement know why they done it and hid it. You mean to tell me you didn't know who this guy was? You didn't know who this black man was? All you had to do is check his front pocket to find out who he was. You could have ran his fingerprints through the system the day that he was hit. Why come it did not make the news in Jackson, Mississippi? That could have put an end to the search for the missing brother. But I think it's all retaliation because one of their comrades got convicted for killing her brother. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all leave comments below. Am I tripping? This don't sound suspicious to you? Peace and black power.